What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. It's me, AJ from BLWA Diecast, and I'm back. I know it's been a minute, but school's finally over. This was a crazy school year, so busy. But I'm a senior now, and the workload's going to be easier, and it's summer, so let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, I actually got a new microphone right here. There's two of them, so this is not the one that's currently on. But I got a new microphone. I think I had mentioned in the last couple, maybe like short or something, that my microphone broke. So I finally got a new microphone, so bear with me. The audio may not be great. I'm still kind of experimenting with the new tech. And then, if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you'll know that I don't really care for Japanese cars, which is what's in front of us. And that's just because I honestly don't find most of them that interesting, to be honest with you. And their introduction in the U.S. market kind of led to the death of a lot of great American brands. Some of them deserved it, but still, they killed them, and I don't like that. But I was able to actually find some that I do like for assorted reasons. So I figured I'd show them off on the channel today as kind of the intro back into my regular posting after 3 or 4 months of not posting. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start today with the 5-pack Matchbox Japan Cruisers 2. This is a Matchbox 5-pack with 5 Japanese cars. Wow. And that's the end of the video today, folks. See you next time. No, okay, so this, again, like I said, I'm not really into Japanese cars, but there's a few in here. There's like 2 or 3 in here that I kind of wanted. So I figured I'd cut my losses on the other cars, and we'd take a look at these. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and open this package. I don't get Matchbox 5 packs very often, to be completely honest with you, just because a lot of them have cars that I just really don't want in them. So sometimes I'll just cut my losses and buy it. But a lot of times I just kind of stay away from them. Alrighty, I'll put these off camera and I'll take them off one by one. So first up, we have the 1992 Mazda AutoZam AZ1. This is actually a car that I've been avoiding buying for a long time. I'm not going to lie. I've seen so many of these on the shelves and in other packs, and I specifically think of myself every time, I do not want to buy this car. So I did have to cut my losses on this one, especially because it's just a weird color. It's white on white. I'm not a big fan of that. But the Mazda AutoZam, this was a kind of a K sports car. It had a 0.7 liter straight 3 engine that made 64 horsepower and 63 pound-feet of torque, which of course isn't much, but it's also a Japanese K car. Like I said, I don't really know much about K cars, so I don't know if that's impressive, if this was fast. It had a 5-speed manual, and it retailed in Japan for 1,498,000 yen, which equivalent to American dollars at the time was $12,400. And adjusted for inflation, that's $28,352. So this would, would have been a cheap little sports car if sold in the States. From what I understand, the AutoZam brand was a sub-brand of Mazda, so it technically would have just been the AutoZam AZ1. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is pretty cool. I'm noticing it has like a dark blue interior, which is really neat. Because you can't really see it. You have to really be paying attention to see it. And of course, it is right-hand drive because it is Japanese market only. AZ1 on the back. Oh, this had gull-wing doors. This was one of the most iconic things about this car was the gull-wing doors. I can put a picture of it on the screen, of course, as you know I love to do. And I tell you what, it is so exciting to be making videos again. It's just been too long, and I miss it. So I'm really glad I can get back into it. So now we'll move on to the next car. Next up, we have the 2003 Nissan 350Z. And this is a car that, again, I cut my losses because I just don't care about this one. I am going in the order of the ones I care least about to the ones I care most about. So you can get a general idea of where this is going. I'm not a big Z guy. The only Z that I actually really care for is the 400, the most modern one. And I don't know the generation name, but it's like the kind of the mid-80s. I can put a picture of it on screen. A picture of one I saw, actually, that actually made me kind of like that generation. But anyway, this generation I'm not a big fan of. You always see them like slammed with camber and like half a paint job and cracked headlights and stuff. I don't know. That's just not my style. This vehicle would have had a 3.5 liter V6 that made 287 horsepower. Not a bad figure. 274 pound-feet of torque and a 6-speed manual. So a very fun little like light and engaging sports car. And in 2003, this would have started off at $26,809, which adjusted for inflation is $46,740. So this would be, right about the price of the new Z. That's a lot of people. That's why I love to include the adjusted for inflation, because a lot of people talk about how cars are so expensive nowadays. But when you adjust it for inflation, they're pretty much the same price. Some cars are actually even cheaper than they were when they came out. So I like to include the adjusted price just to give some context. Get the little Z logo on the side right here. I don't know if the camera will quite pick it up, but very good attention to detail. I doubt this is a factory color scheme, and it says something on the side. I can't really tell. Let me grab my magnifying glass. Okay, it appears to be something in Japanese in the little box, and then something else written under it, but I don't know Japanese, and I can't read that small, so I don't really know what it is. Honestly, I would like this car a little more, this casting, if it had headlights. But because it doesn't have headlights, I'm probably not going to officially add it to the collection, just because it's not a car I care about, and I don't know, it's just not very detailed. But it's cool, good to have a Z in my life, I guess. And so now I'll place that over there, and we can get on to the next one. All right, next up we have the 1992 Subaru SVX. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I knew a little bit about those other two cars. I know nothing about this car. I kind of didn't even know it existed before I bought this. I mean, I knew it existed. I haven't seen the Doug DeMuro review, but I've like seen it pop up on YouTube before. Never watched it though, so I'm really quite clueless to what this is. So this came with, of course, since it's a Subaru, a flat six, a 3.3 liter flat six, made 230 horsepower, which is not bad, and 224 pound-feet of torque. That is 4-speed auto. I think it had automatic only, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this would have started at $24,445. Adjusted for inflation is $55,893. And like I said, I don't know if this was supposed to be like a Mustang competitor or a Corvette competitor or what. Based on styling alone, I would say it's more sports car than muscle car. Um, but like I don't know, you know how the '90s where it's probably like same market segment as like a Dodge Stealth or something. It's kind of giving off that kind of vibe, and I may be completely wrong, but I feel like these cars are kind of in the same. I don't know. Maybe these two were occupying people's minds, competing back and forth. This is pretty cool. The way it's casted though is this whole glass piece also makes up the spoiler, so that's pretty neat. SVX Subaru SVX on the back, pretty acute front end. This little indent right here on the front kind of reminds me of like the SN95 Mustang. But yeah, not much to say for it. Same rims as on the Z. I do like these rims. These are good rims. Very, like classic Matchbox rim. But cool, little Japanese, I guess, a sports car from the early '90s. So now we'll move on to the next one. Next up, we have the 1994 Lexus LS400, and this is actually one of the ones I bought the set for, just because this is like Lexus's first attempt at the U.S. market was the LS400 in 1989, and I have watched the Doug DeMuro review on this car, and I thought it was very interesting. Just kind of the introduction of Lexus, which is like such a well-known and huge brand today. And it's a Japanese brand, but it was created with the American market in mind for Americans. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those brands in my head that's like it's a Japanese brand, but it's not a Japanese brand. It has deco in all the places you want to see it. Headlights kind of giving me like Grand Marquis. It gives me the whole thing kind of gives me like Grand Marquis vibes, if you know what I'm saying. Tail lights, very good details. Lexus on the back with the Lexus logo. I really like the headlights, the how they're like the vertical slats. It's very neat, very very cool. The only thing is, I feel like the rims and the whole wheels and all that are quite huge on this car. I don't know if this is supposed to be just kind of like on dubs or if it's just kind of a scaling issue. But I like it overall. It's a cool car. I'm gonna be honest. I have a soft spot for like Lincoln Town cars and Grand Marquis. Crown Vics kind of, but not as much. I kind of just like that just general silhouette. So I like this car, and I think it was really cool, especially with the red on maroon interior. That's kind of my favorite tone is red. So I knew I had to get this one. And I'm noticing now it's a metal upper body with a plastic lower body and then a plastic frame. So that's kind of cool. It gives it almost like a two-tone kind of vibe. But I like this. Cool Japanese luxury sedan. Some specs on it. I forgot to mention them earlier. I try to mention them when I bring up the car, but I forget. It had a 4-liter V8 that made 250 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, which is healthy numbers. And like, you can tell that this was made for the American market, right? Big old V8, right? It had a 4-speed automatic transmission, and it started at $51,000, which is a lot back then because adjusted for inflation, that's $110,000, a little over $110,000. So like Wow. This would have been an expensive car in 1992 or 1994. It's just very interesting. I mean, that's really expensive. I was quite shocked when I figured that out. But yeah, cool luxury sedan. So let's move on to our last car of this 5 pack. All right, this is the 2004 Mazda RX-8, and this is a car for sure. This has styling for sure. I know I think it's the generation before this. I think it's called the FD. Oh wait, actually, I don't know. Is the RX-7 the predecessor to the RX-8? I'm really not sure. If it is, I know it's often regarded as the most beautiful Japanese car ever made. I don't feel that way. I think it looks really kind of boring. The FD RX-7, but I don't know. Maybe that's not even the same car. I always thought of it as the predecessor, but maybe it's not. Of course, this is famous for being a rotary. It had a 1.3-liter two-rotor engine that made 238 horsepower, 159 pound-feet of torque, so not that much torque. And it had a six-speed manual. And this started at $25,180. And today that's about $42,761. So this would have been, quite in the same spot as like our Z here, right in the same market segment as far as like price and power go. So I thought that was very interesting. Very nice green color too. It's a very I don't know. I like it, especially under the light here. It's not my favorite color, but it's a cool green. It's very sparkly. You got headlights. You got the little smiley face grill, Mazda logo on the back. Very iconic rear end. There's actually one for sale near me, and I see it all the time. And I think it's like I don't know. It's a red one. It looks all right. I don't know if I'd want one though. Oh, this is a opening door right here. I don't know if it has it on both sides, but it is technically a four-door car because these kind of open like suicide style. Again, the same rims as the SVX and the 350Z, very common rims, but that's because they just look so good. These are good looking rims. So it's excusable that Matchbox uses it on everything, but I like them. They're good, and this is a good set overall, and a bunch of cool Japanese cars from this little 5 pack. So yeah, not much more to say. If you know me, you know I usually talk a lot more about the cars, but these are Japanese cars, and I'm not super well versed on them. I've tried to become more well versed in them just so I can conversate with people because there's a lot of Japanese car enthusiasts out there. But I'm still learning. So please correct me if I'm wrong about anything. I really appreciate it. So now we'll move on to our last car for this video. All right, our final car is the 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser First Edition, and I'm just gonna come out right and say it. This can be a very controversial opinion. I don't like any Land Cruiser besides this generation. Don't like them at all. I think a lot of the ones from the 2000s are just ugly, bulbous, boring SUVs. Boring. Now, I do have a soft spot for the GX 470, which is a Lexus, not a Land Cruiser. I know they're basically the same thing. I do like that. But besides that, any other GX or any other Land Cruiser, I don't like. And that's even true of like the really boxy ones. Like the FJ ones, I don't even really care for those. The FJ Cruiser I like. That's a different story. But the Land Cruiser, I don't care about until this generation came out. They are so cool looking, especially the GXs. They are so nice. So I knew I had to pick this up when I saw that they were coming out with this. And it's a Hot Wheels. It's a Hot Wheels Premium Series. And it is a car culture. Now, I've never unboxed a car culture on the channel. I actually only have one car culture in general. Is this Aston Martin right here? But I actually I filmed a video for this one and I got really close to posting it. I was about to post it and I deleted it on accident, and it was very unfortunate. But this is a car culture. So this is my second car culture right here is this Land Cruiser. And this Land Cruiser has a 2.4-liter turbo straight 4 in it. It's 326 horsepower with 465 pound-feet of torque and an 8-speed auto. This trim, which is the first edition trim, started at $74,950. Adjusted for inflation, I know it's only been 1 year, I know, but there was still inflation in the last year. $76,647. So this is a very expensive SUV, and I don't know. Let's just get into it, and I'll stop talking. All right, this thing is heavy. This is metal on metal. Actually, is it? I think it is. It might be metal on plastic. All right, look at this big old beast of an SUV. We've got that black front end with the round headlights. Can't really. Trying to see if you can see it very well on camera. It's kind of gloss black, so it's kind of hard to see. The white two tone with the blue. I'm not exactly sure what this blue is called. I guess I should have looked it up, but I forgot to. There's a nice little sunroof on there. Quite a bland rear end, to be honest with you. I believe it says, yeah, Land Cruiser to the left right here. Got good taillight details, black door handles. I like that. We have a little bit of a roof rack. I don't know. I feel like this is a very good model, especially with these tires, these big old meaty off-road tires. They're very cool. This definitely give the car the kind of stance it deserves. And to be honest with y'all, I think part of the reason I like this generation so much is because it honestly is more of a continuation of the FJ Cruiser. I have an FJ Cruiser right here. Let me go grab it. I just, I guess they don't look exactly alike, but I feel like in spirit, these are a lot. I don't know. I feel like these seem a lot more like each other than the this and the other Land Cruisers out there. But a very cool truck SUV, and I like it a lot. I don't know if I necessarily want one, but I love seeing them on the road, especially the Lexus. If there was a Lexus GX out, I would have bought that over this, but this is close enough. And this is, again, very cool. I like to see these on the road. My neighbor has one, and it's so cool seeing her drive away because it's just like, wow, what a good looking vehicle. All right, that's it for our Japanese cars. Thank y'all for watching this, especially after I've been gone for so long. I really appreciate it if you're watching this and you didn't like unsubscribe while I was gone. And I promise you, over the summer, I will have more content out. I'm gonna try to do more diverse content, not just diecast, but also maybe some real car stuff if I can find some real cars to review. But anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I love to read your comments. So comment down below, like the video, share it. You know all the stuff we always say as YouTubers. And I'll see y'all in the next one.